I feel like this is both healthy, fast, and it's about choosing your dish and the way you cut your vegetables and your cooking technique. A nice big leek cut in half, sliced on the bias into 1-inch slices. And it's really important to clean the leeks thoroughly because as they grow, they get a lot of sand. I'm gonna slice my squash into half moons. They're about a 1/2 inch thick. Some young Yukon Gold potatoes, which I'm gonna cut in half, and also slice into 1/2 inch half rounds. The final component, some parsley, some fresh parsley. I think that the stem of the parsley is really delicious and has tons of flavor, so I like to chop it really roughly because I don't mind a little bit of a rustic look to the dish. And I like to leave the fish out so that it comes up to room temperature. It cooks a little bit more evenly. And I'm gonna be really liberal with the salt because we're steaming it, and some of the salt will be washed away in the kind of steaming or the poaching liquid. And over a medium flame, and I'm going to add our acorn squash. And I'm just gonna be careful to place them so that each one has all of its surface area right on the bottom of the pan, so that they can brown nice and evenly. Often, if you cook fish in a more aggressive cooking method, you maybe lose the subtle flavor, and when you steam the snapper, you can really taste the nuance of the fish. So our squash have been cooking for about 3 minutes, and they're nicely browned and starting to soften. I'm not too worried about them being fully cooked at this point because I'm gonna cook them the rest of the way when I cook the fish and the potatoes. And at this point, I like to sprinkle them with a little bit of salt, which will stick to the oil and kind of be absorbed into the flesh. In the same pan, I'm gonna add our leeks. It's important to really allow them to cook and build up some of their sweetness, and I'm not really trying to get color, but if the pan is too hot and they're really starting to burn or brown, I can always add a little bit of water to just slow down the cooking process. So you never have to feel like you're rushed. And I think we're just about ready to add the potatoes. I'm gonna spread them out. And the idea is that this whole dish is gonna be a one-pot dish. So it's kind of important to consider the presentation at this point, because how it lays is how it's going to be served. And then about a 1/2 cup of white wine, which will lend a little bit of acidity. All the ingredients in the dish are inherently sweet. White wine, as it evaporates, will add a little bit of acidity and kind of bring the balance that we're looking for. So our white wine has almost completely evaporated. The brown side up. Again, for the presentation, I've got about a teaspoon of butter. We have a really lean dish here, and the fat will help to carry the flavor a little bit. When it's evaporated to where I can kind of start to see the potatoes coming up, I'm then gonna put the fish over the top, put the lid on it, and allow the fish broth with the vegetable and fish broth to steam the fish from underneath. And it's a really beautiful presentation when you bring it to, you can bring it to the table and you have maybe a trivet or something out on the table and you put it down, and you pick up the lid and the steam comes up, and voila.